Today, we're gonna do the great design debate. To stack the TV above the fireplace. Okay, I know this is very controversial and there's a lot of opinions out there and designers have all kinds of opinions. Most of them will say, no, no, no. I'm gonna give you my opinion. In my opinion, I'm just gonna start with point blank, yes. And let's dive into that in today's video. Look at this, isn't this beautiful? Okay, here's the main three arguments that I see for doing it. One, it saves space. Two, it combines design elements. You have your modern and your traditional, but three, it also combines the aesthetics and use of a space. You have your lounging and entertainment area all together. All right, the opposition is gonna have a whole bunch of arguments of why not to do it, but I think as TVs have advanced, notably got larger as well, and as our design changes inside the home have changed, that there really isn't any other options. And I think the biggest reason for stacking it is because you have limited wall space and there are no other options. So let's look at what you should consider when you're building or designing your home and why I think designers should start thinking about the fireplace as a place, not just as a fireplace, but as a design that can function to have a TV above it. As we started to go more towards this new design and trend in homes, one thing that's really big is natural light. And for more natural light, you need more windows. For every new window you have less wall space. And if you don't have wall space for a TV, then you don't have a place to put it. So naturally, we've just kind of organically started putting the TV mounted above the fireplace because it was the best usable functional area for the space. Like, look at this room. I have a whole wall of glass here. I have two windows flanking the TV. I have a doorway on this side and it's open this way. So the open floor plan, that very popular open floor plan, is also a problem because usually in an open floor plan, that means instead of 4 walls, you only have 3 walls. And then in this case, I have 2 walls that have windows and the other one is a pass-through and a passage to the other side of my house. So the only option I really had was here, this space. There was no other option. And so I think designers can really get set on, no, you can't do it, you can't do it. But the only option usually is that you have to do it. So my argument is it doesn't matter what the design sense of what you wanted here is. You need to start with the TV and then the fireplace. And so we need to really think about 2 things when we do that. We need to think of the height that the TV is going to be, and therefore the height of a fireplace, and also the width of a TV, because TVs are getting larger, much larger. I mean, you can get TVs above 100 inches these days, but the average TV now is over 55 inches, and most people are buying 65s and 75s. In fact, the most popular TVs sold over the holidays were close to 80 inches and more. So as we get bigger TVs, we need a bigger frame and mantle to make sure that it stacks and still has that design aesthetic that we want. So what are some other considerations? Okay, the biggest critique of having the TV above the fireplace is neck strain. And that occurs because you have an ideal viewing range, which is at the optimal viewing area is at your eye level. And so if you're sitting here, the TV should be in center right here. And so one of the things that we need to think about is how high that TV is gonna be. And you also need to think about having some sort of separation between a fireplace that has fire and heat and an electronic that can overheat by the heat that comes out of the fireplace. So in this case, there's a mantle, and other instances you can have different sort of designs to offset that need, but you wanna make sure that we have some sort of separation gap between these 2 elements, and those are important considerations. So let's quickly talk about fireplaces. Fireplaces on average are about 36 inches tall, okay? And so if we have 36 inches here, say you have 8 foot, 9 foot, or 10 foot ceilings in here, you need to think about the size of that TV and what you have left then between the fireplace, a separation gap, the size of the TV, and hitting the ceiling. The shorter fireplace might actually make sense. You may not want a grand fireplace that comes up 48 inches because you wouldn't have enough room to put the TV above. But we also have to think of the separation gap in here and how we're gonna do other things such as, like, are you gonna have a sound bar? Is the sound bar gonna be mounted below or above the TV? And then we gotta think of the optimum viewing level because you don't want neck strain from looking up like this, right? Look at this. This is a clever idea. This is a mantle mount. This is a patented technology. They use car parts. You can only get it at mantlemount.com or on Amazon. But look at this. It's got hydraulics in it, heavy parts. You can bring it all the way down. And now you can view the TV at eye level. this is a clever option for when you need to put the TV above the fireplace and you still want that optimum viewing level down below. All right, let's put this back up. Let's look at some other options here to talk about. One of my last arguments, and I had this big argument with the designer on a job site the other day, of why we need to make sure that we are designing fireplaces to be aesthetically in keeping with having a TV above it, not only because most customers and homeowners are wanting to put the TV above the fireplace, but because form follows function. And that is a aesthetic and rule that has come from the late 19th century and early 20th century. And what it says is that when we design things, we should always consider the function, such as the fireplace, as being the focal point of where we're gonna then have the TV above it. And this is a thing that I fought with this designer so hard, because as the minute I'm like, look, you have this angled fireplace chimney above, you have no place to hang a TV. And the electrician came running over from the other side of the room and he goes, my wife and I just bought a new house and she wanted to put a 30-inch TV above there, and I held it up and she goes, no, that won't work. So we went back and bought an 85-inch. And I go, see, the inner men, the inner Ken, I want a TV in my
Dojo, Casa House.
says that we need to have a TV above the fireplace. And that is what most people are doing, whether you like it or not. So make the form follow the function, and the design has to begin with the fireplace considering the size of the TV that can be mounted above it. That is my design tip for when you're building your new home, is think about the size of TV and how that mantle and setup will look so that you can make sure that you get form over function. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, where I do all sorts of videos on real estate design trends, property tours, and just cool news updates that are happening in the Iowa City real estate market. Make sure to subscribe down below and check back for my next video. Thanks for watching.
You're gonna see that on Envato. I'm gonna. Man has chronic neck pain.
You gotta get a big crack sound too, and the sound effects like.